Working for Personal Group in the business that we work in is a bit of a happy accident for me, and our business is full of happy accidents. But the first place that I came across employee engagement was when I worked for James Dyson. So I established a division of the business, the commercial division of Dyson, and our first product was the Dyson Airblade. And there I saw employee engagement of a strength and a conviction that I've never seen anywhere else in a business. But I really began to understand what it is to have that kind of conviction and that kind of strength in your workforce to go and deliver the impossible. This is the machine that we did. So Dyson Airblade was a product that I developed with the team. And I can tell you the first time we built one of those, we built it in a factory in China that didn't really exist. And the first machines were put together by the Chinese army. That's the kind of things that we overcame to go and deliver that product. And there's lots of other stories. But there I understood the importance of employee engagement and having everybody pointed in the same direction to go and achieve a goal. The guys who've spoken about, David did a very good job in regard to the employment. So we saw it bump up, unemployment bump up and bump back down again. For all intents and purposes, we have full employment in our economy. But over here on the right-hand side, we can see that wage increases, and so quality of living is not keeping pace with the RPI. So we have people earning less relatively and able to spend less, and that points to the productivity conundrum. So why is it that we are so far away from the other economies that surround us? And it's gone back over a period of time. You can see that our economy has lagged that of benchmarks like Germany and France, our near neighbours, and indeed the G7. I want to tell you a story because it's probably the best example that I have that highlights employee engagement. In my previous life, I ran a business that was an outsourced service provider to the fleet industry. And Carol is a lady from my past who's part of our business today. But way back in the early noughties, there was a huge traffic jam on the M11. It was shut for 36 hours. It was snowing just like the image here, and nobody could move. It was a complete disaster, and it was a real productivity problem because getting stuck on the road, not able to move around, is a real problem. The Highways Agency were tasked with solving that problem. They have an ability to measure what's the cost of being stopped on a motorway for more than 5 minutes, and they've got a pound note that they can ascribe to that. They never told us what that was, but they knew what it was. So they were given the job to go and figure out how they could establish what was later known as the National Vehicle Recovery Manager in the UK. Its job was to move a car that was stuck on a motorway or an A road in 30 minutes and to move a truck in 45 minutes. That's what the contract was, and that's what they wanted to be able to do. So they wanted preemptive capability to go and keep the roads moving. You can imagine quite a few companies wanted to go and bid for that contract. Some of the usual suspects, and perhaps not so usual suspects, but RAC, AA, Capita, Mondial, assistants were all in the fray to go and win that contract. It was quite a lucrative contract. It was a tremendous opportunity. And there's this little business up in the north of England in Huddersfield that I was the chief executive of the business. It was a private equity-backed business that I put my own money into as the manager of that business. And we thought, we'll give it a go. We don't mind that it's the AA or any of the big guys. We think we've got a chance in doing that. And here is where we put employee engagement to work, because we needed everybody's help to go and make this successful. We had tremendous guys in managing the supply chain, where we have trucks that can lift trucks off of the street and move them around. Some of these machines are incredible. They can literally pick trucks out of a hedge and put them back on the road. And we had a lot of knowledge in doing this already. We did it for other customers. Royal Mail was one of our largest customers. But we had guys who knew all about that and could write the submissions. But we also wanted people who could go and make a cup of tea. There was lots of pizzas late at night because the deadlines were very tight. We weren't a very big business. We had a turnover of about £100 million, and we made a profit of about £2.5 million at this point. We couldn't afford huge bid processes and all the rest of it. And we were quite sure that the AA or the others would eat our lunch. When we started into the bid process, I'm not kidding, it probably was about this size. They had, I think, about 20 people split into, 10 of them were allowed to speak to us in regard to the functionality of the project, and 10 were allowed to speak to us in regard to the functionality of the finance and the commercial arrangement. The two teams never sat in the same room. And we didn't know how to do that, so we had to learn how to do that. And I estimate, as a business, we spent about £100,000 just bidding that contract. We submitted it eventually, and just to give you an idea, I always remember the contract had to be delivered in a particular brown paper box with a label on a certain size and had to be delivered to Manchester at a certain time for it to qualify. There were all kinds of hurdles and hoops we had to jump through. And one of our guys got on it was his motorcycle actually, and took the box down to go and deliver it. So everybody played their part. Everybody wanted to know, what could we do? And guess what? We won the business. So we were odds-on favourites not to be successful in that. And I'm very convinced and happy to share more of the story with you that had we not had an engaged workforce, we wouldn't have been able to pull the strokes that we did. And that, for me, was productivity. What that led to, and this goes back to Alex's presentation actually, was that the following year, not because we wanted to, but we decided to, we applied for the Times 100 Best Places to Work. So for our first attempt, we made number 67 on the list. We did it again the following year, we got 44. We featured on the Fast Track 100. And we also featured on the Fast Track Profit Growth 100. Those were the outcomes of the work on the other slides. We didn't go out to look shiny and bright with our accreditations. It was really as a function of the work that we did. So there's the link between, in my view and in my experience, there's the link between engagement, productivity and running a business.